Alicia, who is actually one of my direct co-workers, and Angel Rodriguez, who is coming here from the San Bernardino Community College District. And in a moment, I will tell you why he's here, because it's a very important part of, there's an important reason why. So that being said, I will go ahead and get started. I'm gonna share my screen so that we can introduce the presentation. And also, we understand questions go at the last, but also we understand that sometimes we tend to forget the questions. So please make sure you type those questions in the chat. So if we can have a minute, we can address them. We try to address them right there and then. But thank you again. Thank you for having us. Uh, Again, we are from the Mexican Consulate. Again, we're located in San Bernardino. There's a few other consulates within downtown, and I think that it's important to know in case that not only you run into Mexican families, but also other Hispanic families. There's el Consulado de Guatemala, and there's also El Salvador Consulate very close to us. So that's also very good to know. Today, we want to kind of talk about empowering Spanish-speaking families, how we want to do that through the power of education. I was sharing with Karen earlier that it is very important for us to look for new ways to share all this information and share all these resources that are available always at the consulate and also through our community partners, like in this case, the San Bernardino Communities College District. And we the way that we work at the consulate, I think that it's very important to understand that with Mexican government, we have one embassy in Washington D.C. Every country that has some sort of representation within another country must have an embassy, and those embassies tend to be always at the capital of the country. So in this case, our uh, main and only embassy, it is located in Washington D.C. And with that, to support the huge network of Mexicans that live in the US, we have 53 consulates within the whole United States. And we are lucky to be the second state with the most consulates per state. The first consulate will be Texas, and we can understand also why. It's a huge state, but also in California, even though it's not that big, it's very long, and there's a lot of Mexican community. So that's another reason why we have 10 consulates. There's one in Sacramento, one in Oxnard, one in Fresno, one in San Bernardino, Los Angeles, San Diego, Calexico, and I'm sure you know some other ones that are escaping my mind right now. But I just wanted to mention that there are 10 consulates in California. It's very important to know in case you know anybody else that lives somewhere else. There's always a consulate near you. So that being said, I want to start moving into where we're located at. And we are located in downtown San Bernardino. And like I said previously, our address is 293 North D Street. We're located right across the street from the IRS building, which is a big golden building. So we're literally like right across the street. We're very easy to spot. We're right in the corner. And we serve the Inland Empire. We serve both counties, San Bernardino and Riverside. I know that this presentation is specifically for San Bernardino County, but also, you know, again, if you know somebody that lives in the Riverside County, they belong to the Mexican Consulate in San Bernardino, and that's where we can help them with any help that they might need. I think that it's also very important to say that we help or provide service to an average of 8,000 Mexicans monthly. And even though there are some procedures are specifically for Mexicans. The department that I represent, which is the community affairs, we serve to pretty much anybody within the community. So just move forward. Within the consulate, there's three main departments, and I think that's just very important to know because we only tend to know this little portion, which is the from the consular services, the passport or la matrícula consular or la credencial INE, which is a voting card. So I think that is very important because as you see, most of the people that visit the consulate only know about this, but in reality, there's a whole world, which is combined into three main departments, which is the consular services, where they see documentation, civil registry, and notary, and also the consular protection, which is this shirt over here. And they basically do with anything that has to do with rights, immigration, human rights, family, labor, etc. And lastly, the third department, and that's again where I come from and that I represent today here with you, is the Community Affairs Department, or also known as the Institute of Mexicans Abroad. Um, you might heard that before, and that's basically community affairs. You know, that's us, and we oversee pretty much anything that has nothing to do with documents or protection. We oversee the remaining topics. So let me just look into it. With the consular services, I feel like the most popular procedures will be like getting a passport. Mexico, it's one of the last countries. I can't exactly say how many more, but the day that you go in and do your procedure for your passport, the same day you receive your passport. And this is a blessing because most of the times, um, when Mexicans approach us, they do it because they need some sort of a form of identification. And with that, you know, the passport, which being the ultimate document that a country can give you, we can always be there for a community because they most of the time they needed to either cash their checks, open bank accounts, get a driver license. And next to the passport, we have the consular registration, also known as matrícula consular, and the matrícula consular will also include your address. I feel like this is very important to know because um, when parents try to approach us, especially when we're so lucky to be invited into all the resources fairs and all the education fairs throughout the school districts and the Inland Empire, both San Bernardino, Riverside County, host. This is one of the main questions that we always have. You know, what is it and what is it good for? And we always tell them that it's like some sort of a passport that you can put in your wallet and can help you identify it, you know, in case you get pulled by the police, in case you need to open a bank account and or in case you have to cash your checks to pay your rent, to buy some food. These are official documents that we go out there with, you know, the officials from everywhere else, from the cities, from the banks, from all the organizations around us, and we explain all the good practices that we put into them. So when you see them, you don't think that they're fake, and also so that you know that they're valid, and they have a very strict, you know, forms of locks so that they don't get duplicated and stuff like that. But in reality, they will help more than they will. They can provide too many lessons for the people, especially because we tend to find that most of the people that come to the US, they don't really carry identifications for obvious reasons. So when they once they're here, or you know, once they're living in the US, this becomes a major problem. So the consulates are always there, you know, to provide these identifications and make sure that all the Mexicans here can identify themselves to be able to do everything that must be done under the law. So consular services offered to Mexicans in the documentation department included steps to be taken to issue passports, consular license, civil registry acts to Mexicans, in notarial acts, and visas documents, among other things. Also, something very important from this department is this. This is the department that will issue the double nationality. There's a lot of, you know, of people that wants to have their kids become Mexicans. Once, you know, they start getting roots in the U.S. and start having family, they after that they want to make sure their kids, you know, carry that as well. And this is a department that will help you with that. And if you have any questions, or you have any parents that come and, you know, ask you how to get stuff like procedures like this, you can just refer them back to this department or to us, and we will be more than happy to redirect them to the right department. Moving forward, the second department that I want to focus and talk about, it is the service, the consular protection department. This department also is very important because within this department, we can make sure that everybody's rights are respected and also that we can do as much as we can to help everybody obey the law. Um, the Department of Protection Mexicans determines the constant adaptation of institutional structures and programs to guarantee respect for individuals and guarantees and rights of migrant communities while seeking to satisfy the high demand for services that they generate. Again, within this department, something that we can do is if you get pulled by the police and you get taken into custody through the Department of Protection at the consulate, we can make sure that you know that we can go to the jail, interview you, try to help you as much as we can without interfering with the law. We also can help you if there's we have cases before in the past where, for example, people that work in restaurants, they're not getting paid for their breaks the way that they're supposed to be, or they're not getting paid overtime after working 8 hours. Of you, it could be any situation where the rights are kind of being violated. Through this department, we can make sure that we get connected through with the Department of Work, and we can open and we can help people without giving their names and without exposing them, start to investigate to make sure that everybody is following the rules, that everybody's doing whatever they have to do, and that everybody's being respected with the rights. And it's something it's not on this presentation. I think is very important to tell is this following week, starting on Monday, we're gonna have with the consular protection department, we're gonna have a week where we will have attorneys and we'll have people there giving information about the rights in every single point, and at the criminal level, human rights, immigration, labor, family is very important. We had a lot of cases lately with all the caravanas that came in, and that's why we're here. We're here to try to close the gaps and try to help people as much as we can and the families, so that a healthy family will always reflect with healthy kids doing well in school and doing well in life in general. So we take this very seriously, and this is some very important department to always keep in mind. Something else that we can do it through this department, and I just want to quickly mention, it's we can help people when their family members die. We can help them send their bodies back to Mexico through a process. It is a process, but in the meantime, it will be a much easier, a much cheaper process than going directly to funeral houses. And this is something, the Mexican government takes very seriously. And we understand that it is already very heavy when somebody dies in your family. So instead of, putting everybody through doing kermeses or doing fundraisers or dividing their mind at that very hard moment, we can help you through this. So this is very important for everybody to keep in mind in case you have a student or you have a parent that approached you because they're facing some sort of situation. Remember, they always send them back to the consulate. And if we don't have the answer, we'll be making sure that we connect them to the right people or the right institutions to help them carry through difficult times. Lastly, the third department that I want to speak about today, and that completes the whole overlook of the consulate, it will be the community affairs department. Like I mentioned before, it also known as the Institute of Mexicans Abroad. And within this department, this is where we see everything else that is not documentation or protection. We like, as you can see in this presentation, we oversee topics like education, culture, health, economic development, leadership, community empowerment, sports, culture, art. So everything else will land under a roof, and we're here to promote and facilitate the implementation of joint projects, as well as serving as a license between Mexican communities and the communities of Mexican origin in the United States, with the people and the institution, both public and private, in Mexico and in the United States. In addition, again, we're informing about Mexican history, traditions, cultures, and seeking for a much better image of Mexico abroad. Um, Within our department, I always love to refer, and I was just talking to my coworkers last week about this, and I always like to refer to us as a bridge. I always like to see us as a bridge between the community, and the community can be the school district, it could be a church, it could be a parents group, it could be a community group, it could be uh, anything, Uh, that's how I define community. It could be anything, and the Mexican government. So we become a bridge so that everybody can cross path both ways, and also the organization, so everybody can use us as a bridge to go and complete all the information, or they get the whole picture. Um, Within this department, we have spotted, or Mexican government has spotted three main topics that we see almost every day. And the people that come to the consulate, about those 8,000 people that come to the consulate on a monthly basis, they always have questions about. And these three main topics are health, financial literacy, and education. And I want to speak a little bit in deep in those, but in a minute. How after the pandemic, um, más bien, through the pandemic, many things happen. And with all the changes that happen and everything that won't happen so quickly, we try to do and find for new methods to try to keep that connection between our community and the consulate. As to date, I'm very happy to mention that we still we're open to the public in a regular basis. I believe once the pandemic happens back in March 2020, we went under like everybody else. We went there a few months of uncertainty about what was right and what was wrong. But once the county start like shaping the rules and regulations, then we try to adapt as fast as we could. And something that we are very proud to say that we try to keep until this day is that now we are very um we can't do as much as things as we can because now we kept all the modalities that we used through the pandemic. And nowadays we have virtual workshops, virtual presentations, virtual a lot of things that we can do now over the computer, over the technology. I feel that we actually advanced technologically a lot through the pandemic. It really helped us. Not everything was bad, even though it was really hard, difficult times, and we all went through difficult situations. At the end of the day, we try to focus on the positives. We develop a lot of technology that will help us connect better. And today, we're very happy that we're providing workshops within the Community Affairs Department for people in Mexico, for people in Chicago, for people in LA. And as long as they're interested in the other party, we are always open. Our door is always open for anybody that wants to be educated and wants to learn something else and wants to be better for themselves and for their families. So we kept the virtual modality because we learned that a lot of people can really take advantage of it. But also, like I said, after those few dark months, we went back presential in person, and to this day we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and some of the weekends we're also open for the public because we understand that not everybody can go to the consulate Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We understand that there's people that can't really afford to, just to skip work for one day. So we open and we offer services, consular services, sometimes on most of the times on Saturdays, but also on Sundays, and that's just so that we can be there for everybody that needs the help. And also, we kept the hybrid modality, which is both in person and also online. This modality mostly goes for the events that we carry on within the consulate. And one of the most popular events that we like to invite our community, and we would like you guys all to know, so that hopefully you all can come and visit us one day and can see that the consulate is not only like business. We can be really fun. There's a lot of, culture. There's a lot of things that can be shared and learned. So we invite everybody always to the art exhibits. I think that that's a very, very good point, very good events for people to get to know us better in a different level, to know that the consulate is not only about, passport or the matricula consular. It's not about, headaches and complex, procedures. We can also be very cultural. We can also be very family oriented. We can, and all these things we try to put out for the communities. These are free events that everybody can just join. You don't have to be Mexican. Anybody's welcome to our events, and that's because we understand also that in order to provide a better image for Mexico, we have to be, open to everybody, and we have to treat everybody with respect, with dignity, with, provide all the everything that is within us, to be make sure that we're closing those gaps, and that people that have questions, they can find answers. So just know that we still have these three modalities, which is virtual, in-person, and hybrid, and we're always open to collaborate with teachers, with the school districts, with anybody that would like to invite us to give these sort of presentations for their people, for their parents, for their students, for their staffs, and smaller settings. Make sure you please, at the end of the presentation, we will be providing our points of contact in case you want to invite us. We'll be more than happy to be there for you and for the community that you serve. Again, going back to the community affairs department, which is my department, the department that I represent. Like I said, within the all the topics that we oversee, we identified three main topics that tend to be very often, within our community on situations or problems. And one of them is the health. The second one, it will be financial literacy, and the third one is education. Period. As plain as it comes. So within Mexican government, we developed these three community windows, and with these three community windows, we not only can serve better within these topics, but now we can personalize the attention, and we can make sure that we're following through. As I mentioned earlier, within the Community Affairs Department, there's only three staff, which is Tammy Garcia, who's the coordinator, and then Arla Galicia, who you will get to meet in a minute, and myself. So it is a lot to oversee all these topics, and for more than we want, we cannot follow through with everybody. But through these community windows, what it really allows is not only to help the community, but also to make sure that they're meeting the goals that they want to achieve. And something that we do through these windows um, is to try to help the community and bring them more blessing and resources as possible. To talk about briefly about the Ventanilla de Salud or health window, it is a program designed by the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Government of Mexico to help identify the health services needed by Mexican families in the United States within the Mexican consulate. The health window offers education on various health topics and can refer to you to services available in the area. Also, something that I want to point out on this is most of the services that we offer through the health window or any of the windows are free to the public, or if it's the case, because we have to work with community partners, there will be like low payments or really small payments, more like como hay un término. I will remember this and I will let you guys know. But in reality, it's just more like we want to make sure that everybody has, the opportunity to have a good health. This is, well, actually, this is not an opportunity. This is a human right. This is a human right for everybody, to have access to health, and we take that very seriously. And as a matter of fact, I should have included a picture, but over last Sunday, we hosted a health fair within the consulate. So this formal government building for one day, twice a year becomes a clinic, a medical clinic. We were able to provide B12 vaccines. We were able to provide flu vaccines. We were able to provide dentist services. We were able to provide as well eye care. We were able to provide doctor appointments and doctor consultations, as well as doctor's examinations. And all of these services were completely free to the public. I'm sure I will attach maybe like a quick document where I can include a few pictures about this event, and I will make sure that I send it to Karen so that she can share with you. But this is very important because even though this health fair only happens twice a year, these windows are open 24/7. I almost wanted to say, because you can always connect through the social media, and there's always somebody else behind that reading those messages and making sure we're helping our community. So that will be the help window. Moving on, we have the financial literacy window, and through this window, we've been able to help a lot of people through workshops, through bringing community allies, and so they can provide information, so they can provide workshops on different topics that have to do with how can we take better care of our money, and how can we use smarter and better or money to make it last longer, and to take care of our family. Also, these three windows can give these presentations, or we can do maybe like workshops within topics of your interest in a more detailed way. So if you want to see anything related to these three windows that we're presenting to you today, please reach out to us. We want to make sure that we're providing for you all the possible resources, because you have to take them to a different level, which is the students. And we want to make sure that everybody knows that there's opportunity on financial literacy, on health, on culture, on arts, on pretty much any topic within the consulate. And again, if we don't have the answer, we'll make sure we point you in the right direction. And the third and the last ventanilla that I want to talk about is the Ventanilla de Orientación Educativa. And something that I forgot to mention about these three windows is that they are complemented locally through someone that is an expert on that topic. And the health window, we have it in collaboration with Loma Linda University. The financial window, we have it with El Sol, a neighborhood who is a nonprofit that works locally here in the area. And this Ventanilla de Orientación Educativa, or the education window, we have it in collaboration with the San Bernardino Community College District. And that is why Angel Rodriguez is here with us. And I'm very, very excited to introduce Angel to all of you, because I believe that he's an amazing human being to start with. And also, he's an amazing person when it comes down to helping the students and helping all the staff and the teachers and anybody that wants to know about education resources in the area. Who better to speak about that than Angel Rodriguez? So Angel, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being part of the allies of the consulate, and thank you for allowing us through you to bring all these resources to the family. So I will leave that to you, and please, if you want to talk about the Ventanilla Educación Educativa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alejandro. This is so great. And I need to give you $5 for that really nice introduction, because that the feeling is mutual. And for those that I haven't met, but some of you are familiar names that I can see on the Zoom here, I'm Angel Rodriguez, and I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor at the San Bernardino Community College District. You might know our colleges: Crafton Hills College, Valley College, KVCR, if you listen to public radio, public television. That's part of our family too. But I think one of the things that is really exciting about this partnership that Alejandro has just told us is that the Mexican government has just opened the doors to us, the San Bernardino Community College District, so that we can reach more of our community. And the need for this partnership, to me and to us, all of us who work at our college district, is very clear. And the reason why it's very clear that we needed to partner with the consulate was because we know that the Inland Empire is in dire need for more students, more people with a higher education, with career training after high school. And I just want to thank all of you, because I know that San Bernardino County Schools has been so committed on the cradle to career vision, and we are your partner as well in that effort. And so I just want to briefly tell you about the Educational Opportunities Help Desk. It's a partnership that started back in 2017. We've been having a representative of our college district be at the consulate, like Alejandro said, almost 24/7 throughout the year, meeting with families, meeting with parents. And it's kind of like you envision going to the DMV and how tiring it is waiting for your name to get, called to, get your ID or whatever it is that you're doing at the DMV. Same concept here at the Mexican consulate. Whenever people come in, they're expecting to, let's say, do something around their passport. But while they're waiting, we have a captive audience. And as Alejandro just mentioned, there's 8,000 people who walk into the consulate every month. And so for us, that was a great opportunity for us to outreach and really meet the community where they are, to tell them about all the resources that exist in the Inland Empire, not just from our district, but you name it, whether it's financial aid for college, whether it's career training for older adults, GED classes. And I'll go through the presentation. Let's go to the next slide. But I just wanted to show that this, there we go. This partnership is very personal to me. I come from a family of immigrants. They came to the US in the 1980s, or from Mexico City. And many of you probably have similar experiences. But when my family came to the US, they went straight to work. They came here to build a better life for our family, for the family who was back in Mexico. So really, they didn't go to school. They didn't go to college. My mom did have some college, but she didn't finish. My dad had an 8th grade education. But when it was time for me, I was born here, but when it was time for me to go to college, they said, "Mijo, good luck. You figure it out, because we don't know how to do it. You get the answers that you need." And fortunately enough, I had great teachers, great mentors who took me under their wing, and they showed me the ropes of FAFSA. They showed me the ropes around applying to a university. And today, I now have a master's degree from UC Riverside. That's also where I got my BA in higher education, administration, and policy. I have the privilege of serving as Associate Vice Chancellor at the College District, where I feel like our mission is about helping other students, keeping that door open for higher education. And partly, and aside from all of that, I'm also a governor's appointee to the California Student Aid Commission. And if you don't know anything about the California Student Aid Commission, what you should know is that this is the state agency that allocates about $3 billion in Cal grants throughout California for students who were born in the US, for students who are undocumented. We also manage the California DREAM Act. And so I have the distinct pleasure of being one member out of 15. Some of us are appointed by the governor, others are appointed by the state assembly, others by the state senate. And really, it is a privilege to be giving back to our students. And this diagram that you see on your screen just kind of shows you the kind of issues that we're facing with at the consulate, at the college district, at the Student Aid Commission. And I'm sure some of you in education are also navigating these challenges, where our students who, their families also came from Mexico or any other country, they're in high school right now, then they're thinking, okay, what am I going to do after high school? Really, their options, in their mind, they're limited, because they say, I wasn't born here, I'm not a US citizen, I may not have any opportunities. But that's the kind of information or the kind of myths that we want to dispel through the Educational Opportunities Help Desk, because there are a lot of resources. And the very first step there is about getting that information out to the families. And that's where at the consulate, every single day, we have an opportunity to talk to a mom, to a dad, to a student who in their language, we're giving them information about the opportunities that do exist. And so you can kind of see this roadmap. Some of the other challenges are college affordability. a lot of our families, they say, you know what, my son, my daughter, after they finish high school, they're going to go straight into work. We don't have the money to pay for their college, resources or scholarships. But that's where we say, you're wrong. There are resources, there is financial aid available. And I know some of you know that, but there's more families that need to know that the California Dream Act exists. And so I'll go a little bit further. Let's go to the next slide, just to show you a little bit about what we do. So we offer inside the consulate this information. We get up in front of the captive audience that's right there waiting at the consulate. We say, I'm here from the San Bernardino Community College District. We have information for you. In 5 minutes, we're going to tell you about the FAFSA. We're going to tell you about the California Dream Act. And we can answer your question here. Come visit us. We have a desk right here inside, and you can come. And that's where the magic happens. That's where a lot of families who might be too embarrassed to ask a question, or who may be a little bit intimidated, frankly, about the process, that's where we meet with them and they say, you know what, I have this situation, I came here, but with my kids, they're also undocumented. Or they'll say, I was, the parent would say, I was born in Mexico, I'm, undocumented, but my son or daughter, they were born here. What options do I have? And so we walk them through that process. We walk them through the process of college applications, whether it's going to Valley College, Crafton Hills, Cal State, UC. As much as this partnership is with us, the San Bernardino College District, we're not hogging all of the information. We want our students to go anywhere where they can find opportunities. So wherever there's information, wherever there's opportunities for them, we'll send them that way. We have families who come from the Coachella Valley for appointments to the consulate, and we tell them, well, the nearest community college in your area is College of the Desert. Or you're coming from Moreno Valley. Moreno Valley is your nearest one. So we make it as possible, or as easy as possible, for them to access those colleges. And so we build those relationships, those contacts with those, and we'll say, hey, to a counselor, to a financial aid advisor, we'll say, so-and-so is coming your way. They have information, they want help on this or that. And so we build that network for that family so that they know that there's people on the other side who care about them, who want to assist them. But we also give information about GED, people who want to learn English, or they want to become citizens. We connect them to those community resources. And I know that the county schools has a lot of resources for families. So whenever you send us information and you say, hey, there's this great program that we have that we're implementing, or an initiative, we are going to be basically a forum for you to come and present to the families, because we invite all education partners to present if they would to choose, or have an information table. So really, we are your first point of contact if you want to meet with families at the Mexican consulate, so that they have access to all educational resources. And that's the last bullet, that we build those relationships with the community, so that we can help more families. And again, it could be mixed status families, it could be undocumented, English speaking, Spanish speaking. We really tailor this information to everyone. One little quick anecdote that I do want to share with you all, because I think this is really important. Something happened, and I wish this hadn't happened. But one of the things that we're seeing now, that in California, it is a requirement that high schools assist students through the FAFSA or the California Dream Act application. This is a requirement that, as you all know, our students, before they graduate high school, now they have to fill out. Historically, our schools, including our colleges, have really based our outreach around FAFSA, FAFSA, FAFSA. We've been, banging this from around the application, that it's a federal application. However, there has not been a lot of information disseminated to the community about the California Dream Act. And as we all know, our undocumented students do not qualify for federal aid. They don't qualify for Pell Grants. They don't qualify for federal work study, but they do qualify for Cal Grants. They do qualify for other programs in California. They can go to a community college, AUC or Cal State in California. And we're just, as you all know, in California, we value the contributions of our immigrant families. So we want to make sure that they have those opportunities available to them. But what happened, or what has happened, is that because we haven't done a good job at giving information about the California Dream Act, oftentimes what happens is that families fill out the application for financial aid with the best of intentions, with the best of their knowledge, but unfortunately along the way they input wrong information, and that could be whether it's wrong income info based on their taxes. In some instances, and this is a very true story, there was a family that came to us that said, I want to go to one of your colleges at the San Bernardino Community College District. We filled out the FAFSA, but our FAFSA application, when it hit your financial aid or our financial aid office, it was flagged because there was an inconsistent social security number. Inconsistent social security number. Basically, what this family was doing is that, as so many families do, because they're not legal in the country, they have a family member or someone who says, you know what, so that you can apply for a job, I'll let you borrow my social security number. And we know that that's not the right thing to do, but it happens more oftentimes than not, that we'd like to admit. And probably some people here in this room know that happens. We have seen that. And so what this family did is that their financial aid application was flagged because their social security number didn't match the family's name. And so obviously we have to kind of do a cross-reference of information. This family, they were so worried. They thought, oh my gosh, we're going to get deported. The school, the college is going to call immigration services on us because here we are giving inaccurate information to the college, and now we got caught. That's kind of what it comes down to. And so we had a mom come to the help desk at the consulate, and they said, in tears, they said, this is happening to us. I want my son to go to college. He was born here. I wasn't. And now I'm so worried because of a mistake that I did, or because I came to the country, quote unquote, illegally. Now my son is, getting affected by my mistake. And I don't want that. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to be sent back. And I don't want my son to be caught in this mess. What do I do? How do I fix his FAFSA? And what ended up happening was that they came to the help desk, and the person who was there, our representative at the educational help desk, called me, and we started looking at this family situation, and we had to take a look at it with every case, and it was very sensitive. Obviously can't reveal their name, but there is an opportunity for families to fix their FAFSA, to make corrections, even though they're in the process. And rather than this family using a fake or incorrect or a social security number that wasn't theirs, rather than faking it, all they had to do was put in zeros wherever it said, what is your family's social security number? What's your mom's or what's your dad's social security number? That's where the student or the family should have put all zeros rather than making up a number. And with that, there's nothing wrong with putting all zeros in that field. It flags it, but it also doesn't flag it for the federal government. It basically says, okay, we know that this family might not be here legally, but the student is a US born student. The student is a US citizen. The student is eligible for financial aid, is eligible for Pell Grants, even though his or his parents are not legal in the country. So just because the parents are not born here doesn't mean that the students are not eligible for financial aid. And so we needed to demystify this process, this error to the family. And we got on a Zoom call because this was during COVID. The mom broke out into tears, and she was telling us, it's my fault. We got caught, and so we were able to fix it for them. And now we're very intentional about whenever we give a presentation about the FAFSA, we don't single anyone out, but we do tell families, hey, look, if you weren't born here, if you don't have a social security number, please put in zeros. No fault, no foul. Well, that will continue the process of the FAFSA application. It keeps the application accurate, and the student can still get financial aid at the end of the day without you having to worry about it. Now, on the other hand, if the student was undocumented, there's a separate application, which I've mentioned quite a few times, the California DREAM Act. But those are the kind of conversations that happen at the Educational Opportunities Help Desk that might not happen at your school. It might not happen at our colleges, but they happen at places like this because people feel comfortable. They feel like, here's someone that I can talk to who knows my situation, who can sympathize. And that's really I think that the beauty of this partnership, that when we talk about outreach, when we talk about cultural competency, where we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, all those things that we're all committed about, this is where it comes into play, that we're making information as simple and accessible to the public rather than bombarding them with jargon and legalese, and we're asking them to read a contract because, again, these are families who may not have a higher degree, so it's very hard for them to navigate, and especially in a system that is not, designing their language, and that's okay. So we make it very comfortable for them. So we can go to the next slide. I just want to share that story so that you can go back to your communities if you do encounter situations like that, to please remind your families it's okay. Fill out the FAFSA if your son or daughter was born here, but fill in zeros in place of a social security number. So hopefully that's, if you get nothing away from me, hopefully that's a takeaway. But I did want to show you that, we're not only at the consulate, as Alejandro did mention, we're also virtually, we're always offering workshops. Facebook is still very popular with parents, as you probably know. And that's where a lot of the word of mouth happens, where this is a screenshot of a Facebook Live that we did just recently about the Educational Opportunities Help Desk. And we're talking about this kind of same information. And this was all in Spanish, and people tune in, moms, dads, and then they tell their neighbor, their aunt, their, everyone else about the information that they heard here. And that has been very valuable to us as a source of communication. We do community events, we do one-on-one assistance, and also in-person presentations inside the consulate. So just want to share with you, you don't have to be Mexican. Also, you can be Guatemalan, you can be from Costa Rica, you can be from anywhere in the world, and we're still going to help you. That's not going to be a barrier. So never think that, oh, I was not born in Mexico, I can't go to the consulate, because we're right there. They said it's open to the public, and we're also open to the public. So just want to reinforce that too. Let's go to the next slide. Just very briefly, I know that we're almost short on time, and hopefully if we didn't see something that you have some questions, but I did want to bring up one thing that is a very exciting opportunity that happened last year in the state of California. The first one, you already know, this first bullet about the California Dream Act application. Our students, undocumented students who completed 2 years of high school in California, graduated, they can pay in-state tuition at any public college instead of paying an international student's tuition. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that at all colleges, at all public colleges, community colleges, UCs, Cal States, undocumented students can sign up for a program that allows them to volunteer out into the community. If they do 300 hours of service at a nonprofit, we, the college, the state, gives them $4,500. They have to finish 300 hours of community service for them to get $4,500 as a scholarship, as a grant that they can use to pay for rent, to pay for books, to pay for all those opportunities. So I just wanted you to know that just because, they're undocumented, there are these scholarships, there are these resources, and that's on top of what they would have already gotten through the California Dream Act. They would have already had, let's say, their tuition paid for. They pay zero tuition at a community college or at Cal State or a UC, but now they're getting $4,500 on top because they're doing this community service. It's a new program. We want more students to know about this because we want them to know that they have resources available at the colleges. So just wanted to let you know about that. And then the last one, and this was a law that not a lot of people know about, but it's Senate Bill 1159. And basically it allows for people who came to the United States from anywhere in the world, but we're here at the Mexican consulate, but let's say that they came from Mexico and they were an esthetician, they were a nurse, or they were a barber, or they were a car mechanic in Mexico. They come over here to the country and they say, well, I have all this knowledge. I'm not uneducated. I have a skill. I want to, put into practice here. In California, they can get a license, a state license to be a professional barber, a professional nurse, a professional auto mechanic by virtue of this law, Senate Bill 1159, which basically says that rather than filling out the state license application with your social security number, you can use your ITIN number instead. And the ITIN number is basically an identification number that the consulate would give to someone, or it's also recognized by the IRS, that allows undocumented people to still pay taxes, to still function, to get a bank account. They can function. Obviously, they're not U.S. citizens, they're not legal residents, but this is their that they can use legally to get a bank account, to pay taxes. So even though they're documented, they do pay taxes. And so this law allows people to then also get a state license to then, work in essence. So I just wanted to let you know about that, because oftentimes we think, okay, we're putting kids through school. What are their options after they finish high school? What happens to them after they finish higher education? There is this other avenue. So I'll leave it there. I think this is the last slide. If not, let's go to the next one. The last one is just please, if you can, share this information with your communities, with your families. That we have a live Facebook page. This is where we post all of this information in Spanish. People share it. We have Facebook Lives. So feel free and take a moment and scan that. Use your phone if you can. If not, we'll put the link on the chat. But thank you for this opportunity. And I just want to, again, thank the Mexican Consulate for their partnership, for opening their doors to us at their home. And I also extend an invitation to all of you to come to our help desk at the consulate, and really thank you for allowing this, that you have this presentation to help your families, because, we're all in it together. And I know Arlae has more information about what the Mexican government provides as far as educational resources. Great person and wealth of information. So Arlae, it's all yours.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you, everyone. And also, as you may see, it's a lot of programs and information to have in mind right now, but I don't want to let by side some other programs that the Mexican government has for the community who one time decide to leave Mexico, but that doesn't mean there's no preparing these kind of programs for them to give you more success, to help us to success wherever they are. So in this matter, I'm going to mention a few of them because believe it or not, there is a lot more information, but we don't want to get too much for you today. But in this one, this is very common program that we promote every time we have the chance, because the Mexican government collaborate with collaborate with organizations to provide textbooks for free to every school in Mexico. Every year, the people or students from 1st to 6th grades in Mexico at school receive this material for free. And the Mexican government decides to send every year also collections to all the Mexican consulates so we can accommodate this material on every place who may need it. And I refer might need it because we understand some of the programs that manage in some school districts, they attend to the dual immersion programs community. And sometimes it's kind of difficult to finding quality material in Spanish because the community who are learning or getting involved in the second language sometimes need to reinforce that kind of material. So we want to let you know that every time you might need these collections, they are free at the Mexican Consulate. The only thing you have to do is get in contact with us, with the Community Affairs Department, and we make all donation, complete donation of this collection. Every collection contains 50 books. The title covers natural science, Spanish reading, and children's literature. So there's another also way to get access to these collections, not only presential, you can get it virtually. Virtually, you can download an app, as I showed on the screen, and you can check every grade, now also elementary school, also middle school material. So feel free to check this kind of program, because believe it or not, sometimes our community needs to or feels like they have to be continuing connecting with something from their own countries, and that helps us a lot. It's a really good material. In the next slide, there's another program called Plazas Comunitaria. This is dedicated for the person who didn't finish the basic education in Mexico. And once they're here, they want to continue this educational, but sometimes they prefer to do it in their own language, even though we understand there's a lot of programs on every district. Also, there's community who it's really they're doing it. They take English classes, but sometimes because the level on the countries they were there was so low, it takes more effort for them. So that's why we invite all the places who have already community center or spaces, educational centers, to contact with us, so we can explain how they can implement this program, in which one all people 15 years old and all can continue elementary and middle school. And at the end of that, they're gonna receive a document proving that approved by the Department of Education of Mexico. And that, after that, they can continue also studying every other level. So now they have a document who proves that they already have the basic education. And also, there's a program, one of them is presential, the Plazas Comunitarias. And for those communities who already had in a level that they can manage technology, they can get into the program Aprende INEA. From their own house, the community of the house, they can get into that app, and they're gonna do the same thing and follow up the program until they reach the goal to get also the certificate for that level. And another program that we have offered to the community, it's regarding to all those communities that once they come to this country, sometimes they have to get back to Mexico, or opposite. They're from Mexico and they come here, but when they're on the basic educational level, like elementary and middle school, they turn really difficult to get into the education, and they always get frustrated because once the family arrives here, if they don't know how to navigate the system, they don't know where to go to continue to take education for their kids. And that's why the Binational Migrant Program, PROVEN, it's called in Mexico, is an international program between the Secretary of Public Education in Mexico and the California Department of Education, because they are really aware about this community that really struggle when they reach again to continue educating. And for us, for the Mexican Consulate, we have a document called transfer document for the binational Mexico United States migrant students. But sometimes at your offices get somebody who said, oh, you know what, I've been studying here in the United States, but I'm about to return to Mexico, and I want to take some document that proves that I already have this level. I'm already finished elementary, or I'm on middle school. Because of the other way, by the time they arrive to Mexico, in Mexico, they're gonna spend a lot of time waiting to be evaluated and doing all the process. And in this time, sometimes the kids get frustrated and they say, oh, you know what, study is really complicated and I don't feel like, I don't wanna do it anymore. And so in order to not, to take so much time of that, that's why is this document created. And it's the same when the people who come, or the kids, the families who bring kids from Mexico to here, the United States. Once we inform them that they have to approach to a district office, it's important that let them know that they have to bring all these, or they can get these kind of documents or information, because we understand also here that if they already have some level of education, they can start really, they can allocate it in a better grade, because sometimes because of the age, they put it in a level that doesn't correspond for for the level of education they bring from Mexico or the opposite. And the other one is called exchange. It's a United States teacher exchanging program. I wanted just to mention it because on your offices, sometimes there are teachers that are interested in to know more about the culture or how to approach to these student communities that they don't know, they didn't grow up on these educational pathways. So that's why every year the Mexican government invites all the teachers and persons who are working at school to go for a few months to Mexico to interact in a real educational environment. And on that, they bring a lot of experience how to connect with the communities here, educational communities here. And sorry, the last one that I wanted to mention it's like we mentioned it from the beginning of this presentation. We're trying to provide as much information and tools that you can use with the families, because we really understand that sometimes when you don't know the system here, you get lost. There is a lot of information on websites, on the official web pages, but sometimes the barrier of the language gets really frustrating for our community. So that's why we try to implement a lot of tools. In this case, I'm just showing on an app that the Mexican government create for those communities who want or are planning to return to Mexico. They're being sometimes so disconnected from what is going on right now over there. They know how to navigate also the system here, and they're returning to another country. And even though they are Mexican, they don't know where to start or how to connect. So that's why we invite to the community to explore these tools, these apps, this application that the Mexican government is trying to put as much information they think they might be helpful on this process. And I just with this one, I think it's the last one to mention today. But before I just say again, thank you for letting us be here, because all this information it might sound really amazing, and for some people it say, okay, if I somebody should tell me about this, oh my God, I wasn't, skip years of my time and looking for places where to get the success of my life and get on my goals. So that's why being part of this or providing this information to all viewers that are really in contact with our community, it's really important to us, because you are helping us to make easy our jobs and giving as much benefits for all the community that is part of these cities that we are working with. So thank you again, and the next slide is to give you our information, on contact information, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that you want to know about the window, educational window, because in this kind of presentation we try to bring us the things that we consider more important, but also we want to know who's the person you have to contact in order to get through this or to help you navigate the system in the educational level. Thank you, and Alejandro and Angel, pass the word to you. Yeah.
Gracias, Arla. Angel, thank you so much for being part of this presentation. All the information that we share, I feel that it is very important for the community to know. As I previously mentioned, I feel like sometimes the community is so busy figuring life out that they tend to forget all this information. So that's why we were excited to go to the next level, which is you, as a staff, as the people that are guiding all these students and all these families. So please, make sure you do a screenshot or you save our contacts. This information will be also sent to you on an email. And thanks to Karen from the San Bernardino. But again, thank you. I just want to thank everybody for being here. And with that being said, we're basically at the last slide, which is the questions. Something that I like to do is I like to close this, presentation back ourselves to the screen, and that you can ask those questions directly, and that we can do a more interactive Q&A if applies.